Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading Srīmad Bhagavatam 2.5.2. Yat Rupam Yat Adhistanam Yata Sistam Idam Prabho Yasamstam Yat Param Yachcha Tat Tatvam Vad Dat Tatvata. Translation. Translation. This is Narada speaking to Brahma. My dear father, please describe factually the symptoms of this manifest world. What is its background? How is it created? How is it conserved? And under whose control is all this being done? Purport. The inquiries by Narada on the basis of factual cause and effect appear very reasonable. The atheists, however, put forward many self-made theories without any touch of cause and effect. The manifested world, as well as the spirit soul, is still unexplained by the godless atheists through the medium of experimental knowledge, although they have put forward many theories manufactured by their fertile brains. Contrary to such mental speculative theories of creation, however, Narada Muni wants to know all the facts of creation in truth and not by theories. Transcendental knowledge regarding the soul and the supersoul includes knowledge of the phenomenal world and the basis of its creation. In the phenomenal world, three things are factually observed by any intelligent man: the living beings, the manifest world, and the ultimate control over them. The intelligent man can see that neither the living entity nor the phenomenal world are creations of chance. The symmetry of creation and its regulative actions and reactions suggest the plan of an excellent brain behind them. And by genuine inquiry, one may find out the ultimate cause with the help of one who knows them factually. Om Gyananta Vedandasya Gyanana Shalakaya Chakshamitam Yena Tasme Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Garamayam Dadati Swavarantikam Panchakalpa Turubhascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasiri Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We have probably as children, or the children themselves have asked us, why am I here? How was this world made? Who's doing it all? Why? So we can see that this is the nature of the living entity, to somehow find out how it's all working and where it all comes from.
For the solution. And instead of 5 megabits up, I'm now getting...
Sorry, it's not clear enough. How about now? Are we clear now?
Yes, Prabhuji, we are clear.
Okay, nice. So yes, it's the nature of the living entity to inquire. And here we have Narada Muni, who's self-realized soul, incarnation of Krishna, Shakti Vesh Avatar, Bhakti Shakti. He is setting the example, who to inquire from. So we see here that he's inquiring from his own father, Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma, before creating, he studied the Vedas 3 times. That's a lot of study. I mean, we have Prabhupada's books have we gone through all of them 3 times? We're still struggling to get through the Bhagavatam once. We have Brahma, he's gone through the Vedas 3 times. So he is someone that's considered knowing factually about the creation and the creator. Here we see that the atheists, Prabhupada is mentioning, they are just making up their own theories of how the world is made. A classic one is the Big Bang theory, that everything was just some molecules, and then it imploded or exploded, and then all this order took place. But yes, I think those Isaac Newton, he made us a model of the solar system, and his friend came in, wow, this is amazing. How did this all happen? How did you make this? He goes, no, I didn't make it. There was just a big bang outside, and this all manifested. So we never seen such a just by random explosions so much order take place. Usually there is a brain behind it, some intelligence behind it, a person behind it with a goal. So Krishna is that cause of all causes. Sava Karana Karanam. Why did he make this material world? Well, actually, he never wanted to. It was just to fulfill our desire to try and enjoy separately from him. But he made it in such a way that it's a place of rectification. So he made it in such a way that we can fulfill our desire, and at the same time, along with the effects of time, karma, and putting sand in the sweet rice, we start crunching on our suffering in the material world and inquire why. Why do I have to suffer? What is life really about? So then we can come to our constitutional blissful position of servants of Krishna. This is the purpose of the material world. But what do the atheists say? As we pointed out in the 16th chapter Bhagavad Gita, that is only, everyone's just running on lust, sex, desire. And there's no God in control. The whole point is just to somehow gratify the senses, have something to eat, some sex life, sense gratification, and a roof over your head, defending. Then your life is set. Such a hedonistic society we live in. That's what everyone's running on. And all the education, all the political moves, all the artistic expression that's devoid of Krishna consciousness, of God consciousness, is only to try to hype up the endeavors of sex, money, exploitation, and defense. This is all it's for. If you look at any TV show, if you look at any news article, if you look at any festival that could be thrown, it's only to increase or to maintain one's enthusiasm that to suffer in the material world. A New York police officer asked Jay Waiter Maharaj, so what do you monks have to give up? What do you guys, Hare Krishnas, have to give up? He says, the only thing we have to give up is suffering. Yes, so that to live a life without Krishna is suffering. This is the root of all suffering, to forget our relationship with Krishna. So we need transcendental knowledge. Transcendental knowledge to wake up our original love for Krishna. This is the nature of knowledge. Knowledge should lead to unlimited happiness, eternal happiness and peace. But all the knowledge we receive is just making us more anxious. Even in the primary schools, there are kids who are attempting or committing suicide, at the age of 10, 9, 8, We have so much access to information. We can even write great essays and articles and do amazing things with videos through AI. But we can see that without consciousness, what to speak of God consciousness, the children are feeling empty. Children are feeling empty, not just adults. This is children. Usually we think, oh, I wish I was a kid again. There was no stress. I didn't have to worry about work. I didn't have to. School wasn't so bad. It was more about play. And then you come home and play. Now kids are just like bullied on the internet. They're trying their best to keep up with the trend that changes every 2 weeks. So much anxiety created by further means of sense gratification through technology. This is not knowledge. This is ignorance. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is the root of all suffering. Ignorance of our relationship with Krishna. So yes, transcendental knowledge is here regarding about who we are as a spirit soul. So you may have to explain to people who they are. And you say, are you your name? No, you have so many nicknames with your same person. Are you your job? No, you've had many jobs before. It's not who you are. Are you your nationality? So many of you have immigrated from India, but now you're Australian citizens. Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. You may have to chant the Maha Mantra of Australia to show who you are as a true Australian and accept the values of this country. Are you your gender? No, you can also change that nowadays. Even your social status, you can change. So what stays the same? What is the witness of all these changes? That is the spirit soul. Even your body is always changing from babyhood to youth to old age. You probably looked through your hands so many times throughout your life and you've seen it change. But I'm the same person looking at these changes. So I'm just doing everything for the body. And what's the destination of the body? It just becomes a dead body. So all these things that we're doing in this world, building a family, a house, a car, degrees, bank balance, any sort of prestige, all attached to this body is just decoration of a dead body. This is what modern education is going towards. But transcendental knowledge is trying to wake up the soul. It says the soul is more brilliant than the sun. We are limiting ourselves that much. We're making such a compromise to live a life of death, old age, disease, and birth. Transcendental knowledge also includes our relationship with Krishna, or here it's talking about the super soul in the heart of every living entity and witnessing and permitting, according to your karma and your desires, what happiness and distress you'll get in this world. But most importantly, the revelation of who we are in our relationship with Krishna. And we can't perceive the soul, the super soul. We can't do that. We can only perceive the phenomenal world around us. So Krishna is so kind that he's allowed us to access him through this phenomenal world. And the 10th chapter, Krishna is giving examples of how we can see him. Out of bodies of water, I'm the ocean. Out of beasts, I'm the lion. I'm the taste in water, the light of the sun and the moon, the ability of man, the sound in ether. These things we can access very easily. We all love music, but that's ether, and that's Krishna, who's that pure element of that. He's the fragrance of the earth. We love all the different flowers that emanate from the earth, but that pure fragrance, that is Krishna. The taste in water we have to drink every day. We can remember him. Oh, Krishna's so kind to put such, to quench my thirst, the water tastes good. You don't have to make it taste good. But if you ever taste like pure water, like from a river, you can taste the difference compared to from the tap. So this purity is what we're after. This is what enlivens the heart. And we can find this within this phenomenal world. And this can enliven us more and more. Because if everything is based on matter, life comes from matter. If everything just comes from one molecule and another molecule, and this evolves to the next, and getting better and better, and life is just a bunch of chemicals, then we wouldn't feel any pain when someone gets a child and kills it by ripping its head off. It's just like ripping two pieces of paper. It's just matter, molecules coming together and breaking apart. Why do we feel, oh wow, this breaking molecules is breaking my heart and the other one isn't? Because there's consciousness. Life comes from life. To cause pain to another living entity, we know what that pain is like. We've become so desensitized by these atheistic theories, these impersonalistic theories, that there is no personality, there is no consciousness in this world. So we can see how these types of atheistic or those theories that are devoid of God consciousness can affect society. They write books about it, and then they are exemplified by prominent leaders, and then it just it just pervades the consciousness of the society, that we think that we to the point we can think we can exploit other living entities in the form of animals, even to other human beings according to their race. So much in history is there. According to their nationality, let's make a war over a piece of land, of an imaginary line that we make up. This is the nature of materialistic understanding of the universe or of our existence. So it's so important that this knowledge goes out. Narada Muni is trying to save us by asking these questions to Lord Brahma, and all these answers of giving it the nature of the soul and the nature of this phenomenal world, why it's there, and how we're going to develop our relationship with God. Because if we understand who we really are, and then we see that other people also are spirits, or Vijayaviniya Sampane, Brahmanika Vihasinis, Sunichev Sapakecha, Pandita Samadarshana, that the sage, humble sage, by virtue of transcendental knowledge, they can see the Brahma, the cow, the elephant, the dog eater, all with equal vision. What does that mean? That means you can show love to all living entities. So many times we experience heartbreak because we're looking for this connection of unconditional love, but we always fall short, or it always hurts us. But we still have hope. I will find true love. So it's innate in the soul. We want to show love to other living entities, but we just get bewildered by this ignorance, by this atheistic viewpoints that are pervading Kali Yuga. So Srimad Bhagavatam is giving us the access, the techniques, and the experience of that world of unconditional love, when the soul connects to Krishna. And then through Krishna, if you love Krishna, it's very easy to love all living entities. Prabhupada gives example, if I love my hand, automatically I love the fingers and the nails. It's all included. So if we love the source of everything, then very easily we can express care and love and treat everything and everyone with in the topmost way, with the greatest loving care, kindness. This is the person we want to be, and this is what we want to receive, this kind of love. So we need to get this knowledge out there. We need to imbibe this knowledge as much as possible. It's for the sake of the world, actually. Yes, this Bhagavatam is creating a revolution in the consciousness, in the impious lives of a misdirected civilization. We should not underestimate it. So I'll stop here. I pointed out some points. it's really hard to know if I got a reaction because everyone's in their box. So we'll have some discussion now, if that's okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. That was a very short but very succinct class. Thank you very much for that. I just wanted to add one thing where you spoke about the scientists speaking about everything happening by chance. And Prabhupada says that will the same people, the scientists, the philosophers, the atheists, leave their house to be built by chance? Or will they leave their children's education to chance? Or will they, so yes, people who are proponents of this chance theory, they do everything possible to make their lives, comfortable. So obviously, we can counter argue to them that there is a person who doesn't leave things to chance, but he's a controller and he makes sure that everything happens according to howsoever it was supposed to happen. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much for bringing that up. Yes, there's no such thing as chance, actually. Everything is Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suyate Sachara Charam Hetunanene Kuntiya Jagaviparivatate. That everything is under the direction of the Aksha of Krishna. Everything moving and non-moving, the cause and effect. Yes, this is a true understanding of how things are going on. I remember it was like a morning walk. Prabhupada said, if everything's chance, then let me become rich by chance. Yes. So the soul is always active.
Sorry, Prabhu, you can continue. Sorry.
Yes, sir. Yeah, the soul is always active. So we can be active in either our sense gratification or following the demands of this body and mind, or we can be active in yagya, sacrifice, in pleasing the senses of the Lord, in doing something for the pleasure of the Lord. The difference is that one causes bondage and the other one causes liberation. So this is active, has to be there. Activity has to be there. Sorry, Mataji, you wanted to say something.
Prabhu, I have a question. I don't know if it will make sense.
Sure.
First, it was a great class. It was a very good class. My question was, as you mentioned, that we build a house, we get a car, or we work so hard to satisfy our material body or like to satisfy our material desires. And then when we can realize, okay, like this is enough or that much we have to do, is there like a satisfaction or like a borderline, or when someone can realize, okay, this is enough and we don't have to work hard more for the things, or we should not work hard that much to get those things or to run behind those things?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So the idea is not to, like I said, the soul is always active. So we have to act in this world, or so-called walk in this world. That's always going to be there. In terms of just working for the goal of getting so many material things, whereas house, whereas cars, or like some prestige or position, money, this shouldn't be like the main thing. These things will come on their own accord, actually, as Prahlad Maharaj said, because we only work for happiness, right? But the stress comes automatically anyway. And you probably know people who didn't work a day in their life and they're so rich. You must know someone like this, or like, they didn't study and they just passed the exam, like even did better than me. It's like, what? I studied like crazy and these guys just hardly don't mucking around. They got better than me. So this is karma. They may have like the intelligence to pick up things much easier, or they did something in the past life. We know so many evil people of today and they're doing well materially. So then it's obviously something they did in the past life. And then some other people that work so hard, 4 or 5 jobs. You can imagine, like, I'm sure people like this, but then just this material just like throws them so many so many challenges. This bill, that debt. Okay, this natural disaster happened to the home, so now they have to uh pay out for this. And then education wise, they tried their very best, but this didn't happen. So yes, karma is working this way. We have a mix, everyone has a big mix in Kali Yuga, mostly bad. And so for a devotee, because they know that, okay, it's an up and down of this material world, what should I focus on more? It should be my eternal life, my career after death. We always think about the career this life. Yeah, even parents say, yeah, what about your career? Think about your future. But we never think about our career after death. So how much are we investing in that? So then, does that mean that you forego all material acquisitions and endeavors? No, we convert them to means of developing our relationship with Krishna. So you're gonna make that $1 million. Yes, we're gonna make that $1 million, but we're gonna use it for preaching Krishna consciousness. Let's sponsor 1,000 boxes of Bhagavad Gitas, and then let's somehow organize a distribution in, I think they did it in America, where they made sure there was a Bhagavad Gita in every hotel in a certain state, for example, something like that. You can get that big house, but it's not your house. It's Krishna's house. You have beautiful deities of Krishna, Gauranitai, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, and it's their house, and you're just a servant there. You're working for them. And the whole family is involved in doing the puja, and you invite so many people to take darshan and do kirtan and have katha. This is the reason why you've made so much money. This is the reason why you have a big house. We have cars, we have vans. We'll fill them up with books, and we'll use these cars to go to many places and preach. Not only that, but you may need to preach to a certain class of people. Say, if you have a very nice car, then people who are of that class, a high class, he's like us. Just like Lord Chaitanya, when he went into the assembly of the Mayavadi sannyasis in Benares, he sat at the shoes out of humility, but he started shining like them. And he was initiated into the Mayavadi Sampradaya as a sannyasi. He took from Keshava Bharati. But anyway, the confidential understanding is that he initiated Keshava Bharati. So I had a dream of this mantra, and he told Keshava Bharati, is this the mantra? So, actually, Keshava Bharati got initiated, and then he gave the mantra back. And as he's sitting in the assembly of these Mayavadi sannyasi, he started making an effulgence. He's like, he's initiated in the Mayavadi line like us, but now he has this effulgence, and they're very attracted. And they want to hear from him. So if you want to preach to some, financial elite, then you need to show with your Mont Blanc pens. You have to roll with that. And, these little things that say, okay, he's one of us, but then he's shining. He's very happy, he's peaceful. And then they want to listen to what you have to say. And obviously, those who are leaders of society, if we can obviously induce them in the benefits of Krishna consciousness, then they can benefit society. Someone like Willow Smith, she's having a connection with different devotees, and she comes to do it's called Tiny Desk. It's like all the famous musicians are doing like a show there, and she wears tilak. Straight away people asking, what is this on her forehead? And then she, it's all the talk about tilak. So yes, let's use the opulence given by Krishna. Let's look after him. Let's not just throw it in the bin, and let's use it for his outreach. So this is, I think I went from one side to the other. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much. I got the answer. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, just sharing a personal reflection is that
Yes.
when we talk about material accumulation or our position, we tend to keep certain things intact. For example, okay, when I have this, my age or my vitality, physical vitality or emotional state will be this, like what I am now. I'll be still young. That's how we project ourselves in the future as we are. But the reality sets in as age goes by. Okay, yeah, finally, if I've worked hard, have some financial sense, I've managed my things well, but life catches up and we learn from other people's experiences that, well, this is not giving us happiness. And we start tasting that, yeah, it's not giving me happiness. And as you said, unless we channel it to Krishna consciousness. And also by a certain age, like that's when we say about 50, we should start. Before 50, we can do anything we like. But after 50, we should be very serious. And because it comes with the consequences, we feel our energy is draining. We see lives, people leaving their bodies in early age. And that's when we start realizing, oh, this human form, my age, my life, rest of my life is so important. And that sets in. And that's when satisfaction sort of comes in. Okay, I'm satisfied. And as you said, karma, we have heard stories and seen personally that these things that you've said, and I've worked so hard, I've got only this much. I've tried so many things, I've only got this much. Well, I get settled. And I feel, Prabhu, this is the time when I realize that the brahmachari life, the life of austerities that we go through is so important. We realize after some time, well, I don't need this many pots in my house. I've lived 20 years as a grasta, this accumulated that one day I'm going to use it. I'm not going to use it anyway. So that's when we start stock taking about our lives. What is important is the rest of the life I have and how I'm going to use that. At that point, it all sinks in.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhu.
No problem. Yes, simplicity is an opulence in spiritual life, if it can be done, because you have more time, more, I guess, disk space, if we're talking in computer terms, for in putting being absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Obviously, the more things you have, even like we have internet accounts in so many different apps, and then you have to memorize every single password for each thing. So yes, there's a lot of real estate available when we simplify. Having material things, it does take a price on the mind, on the consciousness, even though we do want to use it for Krishna. But obviously, if Krishna on its own accord, if it comes our way, then we need to use our intelligence in such a way that, okay, it's here, Krishna wants me to look after it, how I'm going to use it for his service. In that way, you don't become attached when it goes away. And you're talking about the body. Yes, we get old, we get sick. So while we're healthy, let us just go more into Krishna consciousness, because it all will be taken away. And then when that time comes, when you're old, diseased, or whatever, we know some devotees that maybe suffered some terminal illness or got some brain damage or something like that. That could happen to anyone. It is Kali Yuga. These things happen. But I've seen this devotee, she dedicated herself very nicely when she was healthy. And then she had the mistake happened while they were operating on the brain. And now she has brain damage. But when I go and see her, when we do kirtan, she's listening to lectures constantly. Her Krishna consciousness did not waver. It's amazing. It's actually very inspirational that the power of Krishna consciousness can just transcend even the most terrible conditions, or so-called terrible conditions. So yes, let us invest more into Krishna consciousness. That's the point that was trying to be made. So thank you so much, Mataji, for pointing that out. Vaidavi Mataji, you want to say something? You have a hand.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the class, Prabhu. I just have a question. How we hear that Krishna has nothing to do with this material world, like his energies are working to make this material world work, while but he has this cherished desire that he wants to reclaim all the conditioned souls back home, back to Godhead. So at one side we see that Krishna is enjoying with his playmates, playing with his mates in Vrindavan, while he also has this desire. So how do we understand his renunciation
Okay. Yeah, so he has nothing to do with the material world. That's true. If we look at what is the material world, it's just the understanding that Krishna don't exist there. So of course he's not going to be involved, but he descends anyway. And when he descends, he doesn't come alone. He comes with the whole spiritual world. So in that sense, he don't touch the material world. But again, if you think about it, the material world is in the spiritual world. It's just like a small corner, you could say. So we never left the spiritual world. We just became unconscious of Krishna. You may experience it like you went into like a room, you're looking for something, you're very busy. And then you look in, behind you in the other corner and you see, hey, there's a person there. I didn't see you there. And for you, that person wasn't there until you actually saw them. But for them, they were there the whole time. So Krishna has always been there for us the whole time, in our hearts, within every atom, within his energies. Actually, there is no such thing. For him, there's no such thing as matter. It's all his energy. So it has to be spiritual. We have a definition because once we try to enjoy the energy without Krishna, then it acts material. Then that's when Maya kicks in and starts kicking us. But when we use the same energy for Krishna's pleasure, then that's when Yoga Maya comes into play. And then we see Krishna in our lives. We become ecstatic and blissful. We are using Zoom, we're using computer, but we're using it for Krishna, hearing the Bhagavatam, and now we're becoming ecstatic. The same energy. So it's a spiritual material. It's spiritual. It's the energy is reacting to our consciousness. That's what's going on. And that's all under the control of Krishna, of course. Krishna is just dealing with us as our consciousness fluctuates. Is that okay? I don't know if I answered your question.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we're good. Anything else? Okay, thank you so much for your time, everyone in Boxland. Sorry, I just used to seeing faces. And yeah, we'll see you next time. We'll be in Brisbane from January 20 to 26. So when January tomorrow, just there. So hopefully we can have some ecstatic kirtan. Hare Krishna. Canto Srīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Srīmad ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the class. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.